In 1882, the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche wrote a line that would echo through the next century. God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him. Most people today hear this and think it was a victory lap for science, an announcement that atheism had won. But Nietzsche did not write these words to celebrate. It was a somber realization about the state of society since the Enlightenment period. He wrote them with a sense of pure, paralyzing dread. He described how the loss of a shared, divine absolute was a fracture in the very foundation of how humans determine right from wrong. In order to understand what exactly Nietzsche meant with these words, we need to look at the complete passage. It comes from his 1882 book, The Gay Science, where a character, a madman, lights up a lantern in the bright morning sun and runs through a market, shouting incessantly, "I see God! I see God!" The onlookers laugh at him. These citizens do not believe in religion, but they view the loss of faith as a simple, harmless transition. They assume society can remove one of its core foundations and keep the building perfectly intact. The madman turns to them and says, "God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him. How shall we comfort ourselves, the murderers of all murderers? What was holiest and mightiest of all that the world has yet owned has bled to death under our knives." He states that the Western civilization committed an irreversible sin. By building a world on pure materialism and rationalism, the public destroyed the single absolute standard that gave order to human life. Nietzsche described this shift with cosmic imagery, asking what happens when you unchain the earth from its sun, or whether humanity will now stray through an infinite nothing. Whither is it moving now? Whither are we moving? Away from all the suns? Are we not plunging continually, backward, sideward, forward, in all directions? Is there any up or down? You see, human psychology requires stability. When the absolute standard vanished, it left a vacuum in public life, and people panicked. Instead of becoming independent, rational individuals, communities built new systems to replace the church. The first substitute appeared as an obsession with absolute scientific data. Nietzsche viewed this as a variation of the old religious impulse, where citizens treat data as an infallible guide for human values. The state grew into another substitute. In his work, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Nietzsche described the state as a cold monster that demands surrender of the individual conscience. And finally, nationalism emerged. Tribal movements provided a holy veil for the pursuit of power, allowing the collective to replace the divine. The modern world struggles with the exact symptoms he identified: deep social fragmentation and the retreat into the comfortable numbness of cheap entertainment, a state Nietzsche called the era of the last man. This individual faces a meaningless world by choosing simple comfort and entertainment. The last man avoids risk, rejects sacrifice, and demands nothing more than a quiet, safe existence, which is not too different from the life most people live or wish to live these days, a monotonous existence, chasing one little pleasure to the next, hoping to find some level of fulfillment, but completely drained of ambition and the will to look deeply at life's most difficult and profound questions. His philosophy was never meant to destroy meaning. Nietzsche was not a nihilist after all. He left us with a critical question: can humanity survive the death of its absolute foundations, or are we condemned to tear ourselves apart trying to replace them?